G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. How would you feel about your daughter seeing an older man? How should I tell them about him? I'm 18, and I've been dating a 44-year-old man for the past 2 months. He was my first kiss, and he also took my virginity. I've been telling my parents that I'm hanging out with my friends when I'm actually seeing him. They have some suspicions that I have a boyfriend, but probably not that I'm in a sizable age gap relationship. I'm not expecting a lot out of this relationship, I just like older men, and it's more of a friends with benefits situation than a serious long-term relationship. For more context, I currently live with my parents, and I'll be headed to an Ivy League, Yale, in the fall. I've always been a good student and a well-rounded daughter. This is to say that my parents trust most of my judgments and decisions. I'm running out of excuses to use to see him, especially for overnight stays and vacations. I want to come clean about him, but I fear some backlash, even though my parents are a decade older than him. Should I just tell them that I have a boyfriend but lie about his age? Or just keep my head down until I move out? Or just tell them the complete truth? I'm scared of them not letting me see him anymore. I got slightly attached, and I really enjoy how he makes me feel. My parents and I already have a difficult relationship, so I keep a lot of secrets. And now in the comments, consider who you might be in 26 years, what you'll likely have seen, experienced, hated, loved, hurt, and been hurt by. With all that under your belt, would you honestly be able to relate to an individual that hasn't experienced any of it? Would you feel truly connected? Or do you think that maybe those years would have turned you jaded towards the world, and seeking out innocence and naivety was an outlet to either escape the harshness of what you lived, or a way to try and protect an innocent from what you lived through? Try and understand what they went through that brought them to a place where they felt entitled to take the virginity of a youth, to be the formative relationship of that individual, to risk ruining all future relationships for them at a young age just because of their own desires. The most mature thing they could have done was to not pursue you, but here you are. Keep your walls up, do your investigations. The moment you discover the root of their motivation or the crux of their maturity, that will be the moment that you can truly know who they are, and I really doubt that you'll like it. We all want to be desired, but it's more important to be desired by someone who has authentic and honest intent, not just out of necessity or as a coping mechanism. Meet some of their friends, their longtime friends. Have candid conversations when their guarded narrative is down. Reassess your worth in their eyes. If their true intent is to give you as many opportunities as possible from the earliest age they could, they probably should have had a child and nurtured it from birth. But who knows? Just enter into what you're already deep into with those rose-colored glasses, but take them off at moments to make sure that you've still got 20/20 vision. Just because someone else has regrets doesn't mean you have to as well. OP replies, I really like the way that you worded this. I've been crying this whole day. The comment in this thread really made me take a long look at myself, and I'm really disgusted at all the things that I've done. I should have been more proactive about therapy. I shouldn't have done those dumb things when I know better. I should, but I don't. I'm just scared of the world. I don't have a lot of people to turn to for help. It was the perfect storm of loneliness and desperation and a lot of stress from college decisions, which I thought would make me really happy, but the highs are high and the lows are really effing low. I'm really disappointed in myself. I don't know how to not hate what I've done. You didn't do anything wrong, sweetheart. This man is the one who has failed to be upright. He has almost certainly manipulated the entire situation. Please do not act like you are to blame. Frickin' social media, advertisements, every goddamn corner you turn is someone more experienced than you, using that experience as a psychological tool to exploit those that haven't put up solid steel walls around them. It's no way to go through life, knowing that around every corner is a predator that might not be malicious in their intent, but certainly not looking out for your best interests. Love will come from a chance encounter. Love won't seek you out, but will see what accidentally brought you together and use that as the first link in a chain of connection. Stay open to passion, grow from experience, and know that with time, you will learn to see the forest for the trees. To expect anything more of yourself is unfair. Psychologist here, don't beat yourself up. You are an incredibly intelligent woman, going to Yale. That doesn't mean that you're emotionally intelligent and wise beyond your years. Falling for an older man is exactly what any 18-year-old would do. You have a right to be your age. Chalk this up to a life lesson. It'll hurt for a while. Breakups are tough. You will know so much more the next time around, and you'll be able to empathize with other people who fall for it. That's an incredibly valuable experience. Welcome to New Haven. I'm here too, and enjoy your young adult years. And now on to the update. I wanted to do an update on my last post. I'm very grateful for everyone who shared their wisdom with me. I did not know how an internet community could change my life and mindset in such a large way. I broke up with him a few days ago, and I've cut him off from my life. Forever, permanently. I'm restarting cognitive behavioral therapy, not the CBT therapy that you guys are thinking about. Again, with my past therapist, who I really connected with. Each session is quite expensive, and has motivated me to cut spending on clothes and makeup. But I think that it'll be a small price to pay in the big picture of things. I'm going to pursue healthy relationships once I'm ready for them. Maybe I'll find a cute guy at Yale who can handle this storm. Thank you again, internet family, for saving me a lot of grief and trauma. I was luckily able to make a smooth exit from an imbalanced dynamic. My eyes were opened to how I glazed over the issues, gaslighting, and love bombing. It's going to be the summer of love. Self-love. And now in the comments, one of the saddest things I saw as a nurse was a young woman who was in her mid-20s, married to a 66-year-old man. This poor girl had met him at 17 when he was in his 50s. They married, had a child together, and at 66 he had a stroke. She was struggling, married to a severely disabled man, whilst bringing up 2 small children. The sad thing was that we all could see how creepy and manipulative he was, but she obviously hadn't a life experience to see that. I just think you have a right to be your age is really important for everyone, always and forever, but especially for teenagers. I was groomed at 15 by a leader in my church. I blamed myself for such a long time, and in my weaker moments I still do. My therapist told me that it's natural for a teenager to have a crush on an older person in their life. It is not natural nor acceptable for that older person to act on that crush. What is appropriate is to disengage and have a serious talk about boundaries. That has helped me a great deal in realizing what happened and why. Your therapist is right. Do you know any 15-year-olds right now? If not, look for some, in a non-creepy way. They are kids. You were a kid. A kid is not responsible for an adult's actions, especially if the adult gains and the kid gets hurt in any way. It could not have been your fault. I haven't cringed so hard at a title in a while. I knew exactly what was going on from reading it. I'm very glad that he is out of her life. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for contacting my ex's mom after he called me 39 times?" So for a little background, my ex Jay and I dated from when we were 15 to 17, and we had a pretty toxic relationship, which resulted in some really serious issues that stemmed down the road. For example, I'm now infertile due to an incident between us. After our breakup, I can only say my side, I went down a dark path as I do already deal with bipolar disorder. I had to be hospitalized for mental health after I fell apart. At this moment of time, Jay and I are 19 now, and we both are in long-term committed relationships. I don't keep up with him, and we are no contact, except for his mother, who I talk to occasionally. I, 19 female, was at work, and I received a call from Jay. I thought I had him blocked, so I was confused. I work part-time at a spa while I'm in school, so I have to be mindful of what I do at work. I'm a receptionist at the front of the spa. So I then sent a text asking what he wanted. No response. I then started receiving more calls, and then I realized we have each other blocked, so I was confused. I sent an email telling him to stop because the calls are racking up and I'm at work. By 5 p.m., I had 21 missed calls, and it was starting to send me into a panic attack. I have panic disorder that stems from PTSD. I sent another email saying 21 calls is overkill and that he needs to stop right now. I got no response again, so I let my current boyfriend K know. My boyfriend knows every little detail about Jay and Mai's relationship because a lot of issues I have now are from that. So my boyfriend already despised Jay. I then tried to ignore it, and I tried to be done with work, and then around 7 p.m., I started receiving more calls, non-stop. I turned my phone off and walk outside for a bit of fresh air, and I started texting one of our mutual, closer to me, friends on my laptop. He said that it's impossible for him to call me because I have him blocked. I said I thought so too. He then said to not engage with him at all, so I did just that. I kept my boyfriend in tune with everything, and I told a few of my super close friends, who were there during my ex-relationship, and watched how everything went down, and they found it disturbing. I turned on my phone, and when it powered fully on, I had 18 plus missed calls. One of my friends told me to answer it, but I refused. My boyfriend is obviously angry, not at me, and he said that I need to change my number, which I am absolutely considering now. It disturbed me because, to my knowledge, he's in a long-term relationship, and from what I've heard, he's happy. I talked to my mum, and she told me to talk to his mum. So I texted her, and I told her everything. After that, I got a ton of texts from his friends saying that was low, and that I'm a cow for contacting his mum. I do feel bad because we're adults and should be able to handle things on our own. I don't know. Am I the arsehole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. 1. I called his mum and told her everything, and 2. Everyone's telling me that I should have handled it like an adult and that I'm in the wrong. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. If he doesn't want his mum called, he shouldn't call you 37 times. And OP says, agreed. That's what my mum said. Also, him blowing you up like this is probably an indicator that something is wrong in his life. So letting his mum, who I'm assuming is a close trusted family member in his life, know about it is actually a good thing to do. Exactly. There is nothing immature, low, or bitchy about OP not handling the issues of a person who hurt her so profoundly. Taking care of herself is in fact the mature thing to do, and letting someone in her ex's life know that he is behaving erratically is in fact incredibly kind and responsible. Not the arsehole. Y'all are in that in-between time where legally you're adults, but you are still teenagers. Calling his mum is likely to bring about a better outcome for him than calling the police and putting on a restraining order, which would be the adult way to do this. If he continues to bother you, I would encourage you to seek the adult response so that it ends up on his record. And OP says, I'm definitely getting to that point. My parents already wanted to file a restraining order, but I didn't want to after the breakup, but I am starting to agree with them. And now on to the update. First of all, thank you so much for the endless support. I felt very alone in this situation, and I felt much better with your comments. I read each and every one of them. Now the update. I called a lawyer yesterday, and we are trying to organize everything to see if we could get a restraining order on him. While that was in the process, I went about my day as usual. And then yesterday, I got a weird call. It wasn't from his number, it was from a random. It was creepy, saying, I have a crush on you. I see you around the lobby of my apartment name, and then they said that they would see me tomorrow. My boyfriend was there, and we contacted my boss as I had work the next day. So my boss was going to stay during my shift, and my boyfriend was going to pick me up from work so that I'm not alone. Everything seemed fine until today. I got another call. It was Jay's number. I still didn't answer it. I turned my phone off and just cried. And then I turned my phone on, and he had called me 16 more times. I'm so unsure what to do anymore. I told my parents, my boyfriend, and the lawyers. I feel so vulnerable. I'm still at work. I am freaking out. I do have him blocked. Someone pointed out that it's possible he's using a VPN to contact me, and that's what I believe is the most reasonable answer, because I'm unsure how he's able to get through. I'm also going to change my number. And now in the comments, I know the cops are typically useless in this type of situation, but I feel like all of those calls, if you can trace them back to him, would be grounds for a restraining order or a no contact order. And OP says, when I file the report, I will definitely ask. Even a harassment charge. The restraining order will be a better solution for long term, but a harassment charge would likely have a more immediate effect and hopefully persuade him to stop calling and creeping until your lawyer can get the order in place. And OP says, my mum wants me to proceed with both. I think the harassment charge will go through faster though. In my state, the harassment charge won't go through unless it's clear that you don't want the contact. You need to send a text or something that says, do not contact me again. And OP says, I had sent a couple of texts a couple of months ago telling him to not contact me. I still have it saved. Well, if it's possible and allowed where you live, get a small camera pointed to the outside of your apartment. That way you have evidence if he tries to show up. This is awful. I'm so glad that you have a support system helping you through this. I hope X finally leaves you alone for good. And OP says, I'm hoping. I'm almost off work, so my boyfriend will pick me up, and we're going straight to the police station. For real, you do not need this BS in your life. Screw his shitty friends too. You absolutely did the right thing. And OP says, thank you so much. I'm gonna cry. You were so kind. Thank you, thank you. And the thing is, it's not like his mum is a stranger to you. You guys talk. So asking her if she knew what was going on is totally reasonable. And now on to the final update. So this is the update that everyone has been asking for. First of all, I want to say thank you for your sweet comments. I read each and every one of them. I filed a police report for harassment, and it's ongoing. I collected everything I had from the past 2 years and turned it over. I also talked to my parents and got a lawyer, and we're working on filing a protection order against him. My state is kind of slow with the process, but until then, I have friends/family/my boyfriend keeping close watch of me. There were a lot of theories of why the calls were going through, so I asked my brother who is in the tech industry, and he said the most plausible theory is that my ex was using a VPN. So that was rough, because I continued to get calls even after my post. I ended up receiving 60 plus calls. I got my number changed and only gave it to close friends and family. I told others that they could communicate with me through Snapchat and Instagram. I also cut contact with his mother. I don't blame her at all, but I got advice to do that as well. So I sent her a thank you message and I blocked her on my old number. She doesn't know that I have a new one. People were also asking what she responded with. She got my ex's dad involved, and they handled it privately, but they never had much control over him, even when he was in middle and high school. I ended up switching jobs due to other reasons, and I let my bosses know his face and name and what protocol needs to happen if anyone sees him. I also informed my university and my apartment building. There is already security in both areas. I also happened to get a new car in June due to a bad accident that I had, so luckily he doesn't know my car either. Right now, I'm just trying to heal and get through this legal stuff, and then I'll be at peace of mind. I appreciate everyone for listening. It was heavy, and you all still did it. Thank you. I'm gonna try to sleep now. I haven't slept well recently, and I have surgery in 3 hours. So wish me luck, lol. I need it. Much love. And now in the comments, aww, I'm glad OP was able to get away from the harassment and has good footing and a great support network helping her get through this. Good luck, OP. And OP says, thank you so much, Angel. I have nothing but sympathy for OP. I had to have a protection order too, which was a permanent restraining order. It's tough to get in the States a full protective order. I had to be hurt several times recently for mine. I sure hope the judge will give her this. This crap can be terrifying. I was thinking today about how stupid it is that no one will do anything about dangerous people until they hurt or kill someone. Like, why does it have to come to that to do something about the situation? I've been watching I Survived a Crime on Netflix, and I'm baffled by the fact that the most dangerous ones, who severely injure people, seem to get short sentences or no jail time/probation, yet the ones that rob stores when nobody is hurt, but some company's bottom line, they end up in jail for 5 to 10 years. Or the guy that stalked a girl and legit walked into her apartment and wouldn't leave, also had been in her apartment more when she was sleeping or not home, and he was released the next day since COVID was going on. Oh, and lives in the building next to her, and there was nothing that she could do since she was tied into a lease. She ended up staying with a friend for weeks, and I don't doubt that if she stayed there, he would have either assaulted her or killed her. The system is so screwed. It totally is. Here, you can break a lease in cases of domestic violence. I think it also covers when the tenant's safety is at risk, which I think should be more common. I'm glad you were safe and supported, OP. I remember reading your original post and being super creeped out by your ex's shenanigans. Hugs. And OP says, "Oh Angel, thank you. So many hugs." Jesus frickin' Christ. What the hell is this psycho after, anyway? Dude keeps contacting OP and being extra creepy. I hope that karma eventually bites him right on the nuts. I bet he's only doing it because he knows that it upsets her. If he desperately wanted to get in contact with her to tell her something or to get back together, he'd probably have immediately replied to the email. My theory is that this abuser lost his current relationship for whatever reason, and then wanted to regain some kind of feeling of power and influence, so he decided to repeatedly call OP to get a reaction and to feel powerful again. OP said that there is an ongoing case, doesn't state if it's criminal or civil, against him, so it seems safe to assume that he's trying to intimidate her into dropping it. And that's where I'm going to end today's stories, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.